Ayo, what's outside is within. The mind regulates the hand that masters the pen. The pen is mightier than the sword, but the tongue is mightier still. The stargate to the mind's revealed. The vortex. This episode of Real Talk with Kevin is different. It's not entertainment, it's not gossip, it's not surface talk. We're talking about something real, something raw, something that, if I'm being honest, too many people are dealing with in silence. Suicide. We live in a world where it's easier to post a selfie than to say I'm not okay. Where too many men are told to toughen up, too many women are left feeling invisible, and too many young people feel like they don't belong. But here's the truth. You matter and your story isn't finished. Today I'm joined by Kevin, our in-house therapist and someone who truly cares about the mental and emotional well-being of our community. Together, we're breaking the silence, we're talking honestly, and we're offering real help and real hope. If you've ever felt like giving up, or if you know someone who's hurting, if you just want to understand more, this episode is for you. You're not alone, let's talk. All right, so I want you to start off with trying to understand suicide. What are the most common causes or triggers that lead people to consider suicide?
Well, depression, anxiety, loss, bereavement. I mean, and loss can come in different forms. I remember back in the 80s when there was a spate of suicides, especially when the stock market crashed. People lost their jobs, their income, losing homes. Some people resorted to suicide. Bereavement is serious in regards to that. Depression is serious in regards to suicidal ideation. So there's loads and loads of factors, but depression and loss are quite common. But you know, there's so many different factors because suicidal itself can be quite individual. You know, you don't know what's going on in the minds of some people in regards to how they're feeling about certain circumstances. In regards to relationships, in regards to work, in regards to just wants or needs, and more so wants than anything else. Nowadays with social media, people, even though they're in contact with people, some people still feel alone, and some people are helpless depending on their circumstances. If you're homeless, if you've been fighting a battle, a mental battle with any sort of illness, there's so many different factors that contribute to the thoughts of taking your own life that, you know, it's complex.
Are there any warning signs that people often miss when someone is struggling with suicidal thoughts?
I think sometimes it's hidden. There's quite a lot that's hidden. I mean, that's why when it happens, there's a lot of shock and surprise because no one knows. People walk around happy, they seem contented, and nothing ever seems wrong. And then you're either left with a note or no note. Someone's taken their life, and people are in disbelief about that person taking their life. Sometimes there could be signs. People might be wanting to talk, or, you know, nowadays it's so upsetting that everyone seems to be too busy sometimes to take the time out to actually listen to what someone's saying. So yeah, there's the identifying signs sometimes quite difficult because people aren't going to, a lot of the time, give you the signs to say that, all right, I've got these fantasies or these thoughts about taking my own life. I need to talk to you about it.
Yeah. Talking on the basis of like signs and maybe ways to tell if someone is there, how can you tell the difference between sadness, depression, and being suicidal?
I think sadness sometimes can be, I mean, if it's consistent, that might be a sign of depression. I mean, I wake up sometimes, you know, I'm not feeling it, and people get that. You go to bed feeling all right, you get up, the whole day's not feeling right. And you feel that you've got to pull yourself together. some people have that day in, day out for a length of time until it becomes something else that's more serious. So those, you know, sadness, all right, you can have it intermittently. Depression, it's consistently, and then that can lead to something more severe like suicide.
Why do you think suicide is such a taboo topic in many communities?
I think it's the worst indiscretion, really, the taking of your own life. And the outcome so traumatizing for everyone that's left, that I think it's such a hard topic to talk about, because who wants to talk about a family member taking their own life? You know, people are scared to talk about anything to do with death. I mean, in the black community, it's quite funny because I'm a person that's, you know, I've got a certain disposition. I'm a person that's experienced a lot of death around me in regards to my friends. And I was sort of consumed at an early age in talking about the topic of death was big for me. I always talked about it. Oh, what if this, that, blah, blah, blah. What happens after death? Blah, blah, blah. I might die tomorrow. That's one of my sort of famous sort of statements to even to my students at one time. I used to say to them, you know, don't take anything for granted, because it's simple. Life is that short. I could leave here today and leave the school today, and then you don't see me come in tomorrow, and then you don't hear about me the next day, and then suddenly you hear I've passed away. So when it comes to, what was the question again?
Why do you think suicide is such a taboo topic in many communities?
Okay, so I think any talks about death, no one wants to talk about death. In the black community, it's like you fuck it. We're gonna have to go for that one again. So what's it when what's wrong with my mind today? You know, when you say something and it comes into existence, how would you say that again?
Oh, is it like a manifestation?
Yeah, or self-fulfilling prophecy or manifestation.
Yeah.
Let's say that question again now.
Why do you think suicide is such a taboo topic in many communities?
I think no one likes talking about death. Sometimes when people talk about death, especially in the black community, it's sort of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I think if you talk about it, it's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
So no one wants to talk about death in general. So talking about suicide and someone taking their own life is a no-go area for a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people live in the realm of existing and talking about life. It's such a scary prospect, dying.
Yeah.
That no one wants to talk about it. No one wants to talk about someone, by whatever means, taking their own life, whether it's, you know, cutting your wrists or hanging yourself or whatever, taking tablets, you know. Even me saying it sounds traumatizing.
Yeah. Is suicide always linked to mental illness, or are there other factors at play?
I think there could be a debate on that. I think some people might say if you've gone to those lengths, you take your life, there must be something mentally wrong going on for you to be that extreme. I feel to a certain extent that might be the case, but you might not be. You might, you know, it's like the straw that broke the camel's back. You go through a lot of things, or experience trauma, things aren't going right, and then where do you turn? You feel that you can't get help from anywhere. I mean, there's situations where people have intrusive thoughts for no apparent reason. There might be some sort of cognitive dysfunction, and some you're hearing a voice telling you something all the time. That might lead to suicide. So I think sometimes, for me, it feels like mental illness if you're going to that extreme length of taking your own life.
Yeah.
But again, you might be functioning quite well and someone dies that's close to you and you feel lost, you know, and then you decide that it's time to not be here anymore.
Why do you think people often hide their suicidal thoughts instead of speaking up?
Because there'll be a label attached, you know, depending on who you've got as friends and family. If you start talking about suicide, what's going to happen? First, worry kicks in. Then you might think about, oh, we need to take you to the doctors. You know, in the black community, people are quite tentative because once you start talking a certain way and behaving a certain way, and you go to any institution, you might be sectioned. Things will steadily go downhill from there for you. So it's quite a scary prospect.
What is the danger in telling someone who is suicidal to man up or to get over it?
They won't talk to you again. You know, if I'm crying out for help from you and you're telling me to man up, but what I'm feeling inside, you don't understand. You don't understand the sort of chaos that's going on or the sadness that's going on inside of me. And then you're taking it from, you're thinking about my perspective from your viewpoint. Well, in regards to what you would do or how you would operate. And even then, when someone talks like that, if they're not in the situation that I'm in, they don't even know if they'd operate like that and man up. So, you know, you can have this sort of talk, and especially in the black community with men, you might talk that talk, but you'll push them away. They won't talk to you again.
What would you say are some helpful and unhelpful things to say to people who open up about suicidal feelings?
Man up's unhelpful. Oh, come on, you can sort this out yourself. All you need to do is this. All you need to do is that. Like, please stop talking rubbish. If that's all they needed to do, they've probably been doing it already. They're just doing that's not helping them. It's always good to sit down and talk through things with them. I mean, you really need professionals, therapists, to help you through that. If it gets to a stage where you end up in hospital, you know, you need working professionals in the hospital to support you, let alone therapy. But you're going to need professionals to help you through that. The first port of call might be your family and friends, and that might be all right. That might be all that you need. But if that's not helping, you're going to have to seek some professional advice and guidance.
Are there any specific practices or habits that can help someone cope when they feel like they've hit rock bottom? You
know, like I said, that people have probably been trying it already. You have to do the things that make you feel better. They might have been doing it, or they might have pushed those to the side because they're feeling so upset or depressed. But most people individually know the things that make them feel better, whether it's good music, whether it's being around friends, you know, eating nice food, doing the things that just make you feel better day to day. But if that's not working, like I said, you're going to have to seek professional advice and professional help.
Saying that, how does therapy help someone who feels like there's no point in living?
I think there's different approaches. I think CBT's a good approach to help people in regards to suicide. I mean, psychodynamic therapy, looking at the unconscious and conscious as well, and fantasies, and how, in regards to you planning out something and talking through what's causing you distress is good. But I think all the therapeutic approaches, and depending on the practitioner as well. I mean, there is a fit. Sometimes you might go to a therapist and just doesn't seem right. But don't think that's the end. Find someone else, because there'll be someone that you'll feel the relational sort of value in that person, and you can start doing the work to feel better.
What role can purpose and meaning play in someone's recovery from suicidal thoughts?
a significant role. I mean, I think some people, when it comes to suicide, they lose their purpose, the meaning of life, what is going on. I mean, I've woken up, and I'm sure there's many people that this has happened to, where you wake up in the morning, you wonder, what is this all about? You know, it can happen on days that are bad, or weeks that are bad, or months that are bad, had a whole bad year, or you can just wake up in the morning randomly, not feel good, and think, why am I existing? You know, sometimes I've even thought, you know, we go training a lot, and that helps your mental well-being. But sometimes I've got up in the morning and think, why am I training? I might as well just sit down, eat food, because the end point is always the same. You're going to die, you know. But in regards to life as an experience, you know, for me, you have to run that until the wheels fall off. Like, just keep it going, because there's so many things that you're going to miss out on. I've had friends that have died from when I was 14. And sometimes I think to myself, imagine, especially one of my friends, Mark Palmer, always think about how technology's changed, how they got AI now, even virtual reality, games consoles. He used to love that, but he's missed out on all that. There's people that they enjoy other things, but they won't see the timeline of the development of those things if you end your life. You know, so try and keep it going so we experience more. And to a certain extent, when there's a point where you feel that it's time to end it, there's so much more after that you can experience, you know what I mean? So, you know, it's hard work to talk about suicide and talk about it in an easy way, like you can just get over it. You've reached a serious crisis point where you don't think you can stay here anymore. You know, so it's not easy to talk about it, and talk about it in the way where it's resolvable.
I want you to bring the topic into like the real world, in the sense of like, you know, current affairs and stuff. How does poverty, trauma, or social exclusion contribute to suicide in inner city communities?
You know, I think there's in impoverished areas, there's so many vulnerable people that are feeling social pressures and financial pressures at every angle. It's funny because living in Tottenham's quite a weird thing, even though I've lived in Tottenham for a very long time. But you've got no control when you live in impoverished areas. So imagine now imagine you're unemployed and you're collecting universal credit. You might be collecting JSA. You're getting housing benefit. Now, every minute you've got to go in for a meeting. Yeah, they're always monitoring you about your money. You're trying to get work at the same time. They're trying to push you into low-paid work just to have a job, so you come off benefits. So you're already in a weird place, and that's just one section of existing. Then you've got your kids as well. They might be giving you trouble, they might not, but dealing with kids is hard. Then you've got your partner in a relationship, and that's hard work as well. You know, it's compounded by different things. You might be in part-time work as well while getting those benefits, and it gets even more complex. But there's other little things that go on. So even with me, I live in an estate. They've decided that they're going to close down the car park where people park and build flats and houses there. Now, I can... just that happening has created chaos on the road that I live on, where everyone's got to park on the road now, and you can feel the tension. Even myself, I'm upset about this. And there's little things that happen day to day in impoverished areas that are unseen, but people are experiencing from the car park being shut down. You know, and it's weird because the car park's not over busy, so there's kids that play in the car park. It's like their playground. That's gone now. So now those parents are going to have to find another place for them to play or do whatever else. So at any given moment, there's so many different pressures that can affect you that you don't know which way to turn. And ultimately, people are, you know, there's this, they're scared to talk out. They're scared to talk to their families. They're scared to talk to their friends. In the black community, there's a culture of non-talking about your emotions, you know, and I'm sure that goes across the board, especially when it comes to men and masculinity, you know. I don't think from any culture, from black to Turkish to Chinese to whatever, yeah, that men freely speak out about their emotions. There are individuals, but as a collective group, lots of men don't speak up about how they're feeling.
Which will lead me into the question, why is male suicide particularly high, and what can be done to reduce it?
I think, you know, for that reason, masculinity and having a stiff upper lip and taking it on the chin is one of the sort of things that we grew up with. We grew up with a model of a man. I grew up with a model of a man from, you know, there wasn't a lot of black influential people on TV, so you'd have someone like Clint Eastwood, who was a hard gunslinger. You'd have Sylvester Stallone as Rambo, who was a hard guy doing whatever. You'd have Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was another hard guy. You'd have all these characters that were depicted on TV and cinema. But they weren't wimps, you know, and that model was instilled in us. And that's why for older generations, seeing young people now, I know, I might say it on your occasion, the young people are so emotional, blah, blah, blah. But there's a benefit in that. There's a ability to talk out with that emotional disposition. So I think for young people now, even though there's a lot more going on from in regards to social media and the social dynamics, and I know there's a real deep-rooted issue when it comes to wants nowadays with young people that can put them in a predicament where they feel like, all right, I'm not getting anything, and then it leads to suicide. But I think things are developing for young males in regards to being able to talk out. I think there's a culture amongst young men in regards to accessing therapy, because you see younger and younger clients nowadays. Back in the day, I don't think that was really a thing. Really young clients, like from 18, 19 onwards, and I know of young people from 11 years of age accessing therapy. You know, so yeah.
How does the suicide conversation change when we're talking about teenagers versus adults?
I think it's like teenage death in general. You know, as much as suicide's taboo, thinking about a young person taking their life is a scary prospect, because it's one thing for a young person to take their life and be sad about it, but it's another thing for the parent to feel that what didn't they do, and their child has committed suicide and taken their own life. You know, so it's a very scary prospect, because that could lead to the adult doing something to themselves if their child takes their life. As a parent myself, I would not even know how I'd manage that myself. You know, let alone one of my friends doing it, yeah, or someone older. I think I can absorb that a lot easier. It's not ever going to be easy than my child taking their life and wondering what I'd done wrong or what I didn't do, and then a sort of playback in memory of little bits that you identified and feel, I missed out on that, and then you're sort of beating yourself up about it. It's all too much.
Yeah. I wanted to go into a part which is practical advice for the viewers. So this is the last 5 questions. Yeah. And the first one is, what should somebody do right now if they feel suicidal and are watching this?
Phone Samaritans. You need to pick up the phone. You need to phone someone, like Samaritans, any advice line, phone them straight away. Go to Google or whatever and have a conversation with someone straight away. Yeah, for me that's immediate.
Okay. What are the steps for a friend or family member? What could they do to what steps could they take if they believe someone is at risk, basically?
Well, I think if they think some people like to do interventions and then it can become too much for that person. I think there needs to be someone that's trusted, that they know that person trusts, to have the conversation with them, to sort of guide them in the right direction, to seek the help that they need. But it has to be someone that's trusted. You can't just pop up and you haven't got a relationship that's that deep and you want to have that conversation with that person. They might shut down.
Are there any immediate tools or techniques people can use to manage overwhelming thoughts?
Breathing, meditation, clearing your mind. I think it's hard to clear your mind when it's consumed and cluttered, but if you have a silent space and you breathe in a particular manner and you sort of clear your mind of all the stuff that's going on, that's a great technique. Exercise is always good. Punching the punch bag is always good, or doing pad work, because training, all right, your endorphins are moving in a certain way and make it that feel good factors happening, but also there's a letting out of this energy. There's an energy in you that has to come out sometimes for you to feel relaxed. The best part of training sometimes is the end.
Yeah. And
sometimes the best part of training is the training, because you don't think about anything, so I think training and meditation are good techniques for letting those thoughts go.
I know we kind of slightly touched on it, but how important is professional help, and how can someone access it if they feel ashamed or scared?
I think what people have got to understand is that these people that are professionals have come across thousands and thousands of people. They're non-judgmental. They work in a realm of transparency and neutrality. They care about you. They want to help you. So just pick up the phone, go to Google, whether it's a Samaritans or some therapeutic organization that's charity-based that can give you help for a cheap rate. Just pick up the phone, go to Google, phone the Samaritans, but understand that those people are there to help you. Yeah, and they care about you. It's quite strange that people are still sort of quite defensive in regards to picking up the phone and not understanding the person at the other end of the phone does that work for a reason. There's some people out there that have experienced or gone through suicide that are practitioners, that have gone through depression. They may have been close to suicide. There are underlying reasons why they've chosen that occupation to care for people. Don't be afraid.
What message would you give to someone watching this who believes the world would be better off without them?
It won't be. You make regardless of what you do, you bring something to the table, and you contribute to what's going on in this planet. There's people that love you. There's people that care about you. There's people that will miss you. And there are people that will be devastated if you're not around anymore. So think about them. Don't only think about yourself. It can become quite a selfish phenomenon, suicide. I know that it's more, an attack on yourself. Sometimes in regards to suicide, because you have these thoughts, you might want to go out there ultimately and hurt someone else. But it's not that, because you're not that person. So you bring it back on yourself and you end up hurting yourself. So, but in hurting yourself, you devastate the lives of people close to you, and that doesn't end. Please don't be selfish in your thinking. Think about other people as well, your children, your aunties, uncles, your mum, your dad, whoever. And I know that's hard to comprehend when what's going on in your head. is not nice. But just think outside of the box a little bit, because there's people that are going to have a lifetime of grief after you go.
My brother, thank you very much.
No problem there.
Love.
Wicked.
Hey yo, what's outside is within. The mind regulates the hand that masters the pen. The pen is mightier than the sword, but the tongue is mightier still. The stargate to the mind's revealed. The vortex.